Caretaker sings the Comatose dragon. Unaware watching emperor is her adopted son. The dragon lay motionless in the cavernous healing chamber, its emerald scales dulled and cracked, breath barely stirring the air. The great beast had been in a coma for months, struck down during the last war. He was the emperor's prized guardian, a living relic of the empire's founding. Healers had failed, magisters had failed. Only she remained. Lyra, the caretaker. She wasn't a healer or mage, just a woman who had grown up tending beasts in the imperial stables. Every evening, when the torches burned low, she sat by the dragon's massive head, smoothing the ridges above its eyes, humming the same lullaby she once sang to a child long ago. She didn't know anyone was listening. High above, hidden behind a screen of jade lattice, a man stood in silence. His robes were black and gold, his crown gleaming faintly in the torchlight. The emperor, her son, at least the boy she had once cradle-fed and shielded from the cold, back before the palace guards had come for him, declaring he was the heir, whisking him away from her arms without so much as a goodbye. She had never seen him again, or so she thought. He watched now, unmoving, listening to the song that had lived in the corners of his memory since childhood, the one that had soothed him when fever gripped him, when nightmares clawed at his sleep. He'd thought it was a dream, a phantom comfort from a past too distant to trust. But here it was, real. The caretaker leaned forward, her voice low and tender, as though the dragon could hear. "You're not alone," she murmured. "I know the dark feels endless, but I'm here. I'll be here until you wake." The emperor felt something twist in his chest. The dragon's coma had been a political nightmare. His generals demanded they replace it with another guardian beast. The people whispered of omens. He had authorized every possible cure. Except this, he hadn't authorized her at all. When the chief stable master mentioned that one of the older caretakers refused to leave the dragon's side, he'd been curious enough to investigate. He hadn't expected to find her. She didn't recognize him, and why would she? He was a man grown, his face sharpened by time, his voice a stranger to her. Still, as she sang, he remembered the warmth of her arms, the way she had always kept herself between him and the cold stone walls of their old cottage, the way she'd sacrificed her meals when food was scarce. The dragon's chest rose just a fraction deeper. A whisper of breath escaped its nostrils. Lyra didn't stop singing. Her voice shook, not from fear but from hope, dangerous, fragile hope. The emperor stepped closer to the lattice, torn between revealing himself and staying hidden. He was ruler of an empire, commander of armies. Yet right now he was a boy again, listening to the woman who had been his entire world. He had thought she'd died years ago. When her song ended, Lyra sat back, stroking the dragon's snout. "You were born protect," she whispered. "But someone must protect you too, yes?" The dragon's tail twitched. The emperor's breath caught. The healers had claimed movement was impossible in its state. He wanted to call out, to tell her what she'd just accomplished, but he held his tongue. He came the next night, and the next, every evening. He stood in the shadows while she sang, her voice steady even as her hands grew weary. The dragon's breathing deepened with each visit, the dullness of its scales receding. On the sixth night, the dragon's golden eyes cracked open. Lyra froze, tears brimming. "Welcome back," she whispered, brushing a trembling hand along its cheek. From above, the emperor's vision blurred. He had seen victories, treaties, coronations, but none of them had filled his heart like this moment. He stepped forward at last, descending the marble steps into the chamber. Lyra turned, startled, rising to her feet. She bowed stiffly. "Your Majesty." Her voice carried no recognition, only the deference of a servant to her ruler. The emperor stopped a pace away, searching her face. Time had lined it. Grief had carved shadows beneath her eyes. but the shape of her smile. He remembered it. "You saved him," he said softly. "I only sang, sire," she replied. "It wasn't me. He must have wanted to return." The emperor's throat tightened. He had rehearsed speeches in his mind for years. Things he would say if he ever found her. None of them seemed right now. "Lyra," he said. Her name felt like home on his tongue. She blinked in surprise. "You know my name?" He gave a small, almost uncertain smile. "I know more than that. You used to wake before dawn to make me porridge. You taught me how to whistle with my fingers." "You!" His voice caught. "You used to call me Little Hawk." Her eyes widened. She studied his face as though searching for a ghost. "No, that boy was taken from you," he finished quietly, "raised to be emperor. But I never forgot your voice. Tonight, I heard it again." Her breath trembled, and for a moment she looked as if she might collapse. The dragon shifted behind her, lowering its head until its snout brushed her side, steadying her. "You're alive," she whispered. "I am," he said, "because of you. Then and now." She stared at him, torn between disbelief and joy, before finally reaching out. He took her hand, calloused, warm, familiar. Around them, the dragon exhaled a warm, rumbling breath, as if sealing some unspoken vow. For the first time in years, the emperor felt like more than a crown and a title. And Lyra, though she still didn't understand how the boy she'd lost stood before her, knew one thing for certain. She had her son back. And somewhere deep inside, the dragon knew it too.